All right, you're welcome. And then me say a very simple concept. Chemical mediators of inflammation. Then the woman say, so when you give me some likes. Now subscribe. Now me who say, oh, at least you're much interested in in this kind of videos. So now me for other ones in like acute inflammation, neoplasia, and it is so. And so when you video ni na mo likes kakra na wa comment any topic crap pese me dem sande e de bro what I say good it and let's consider chemical mediators of inflammation, a very simple concept in now let's go in. Now before we go into chemical mediators, no, let's look at inflammation, a very simple aspect of it. Now bisa almost every student be say what is inflammation? Because also be a conjunctivitis, pharyngitis, episcleritis, scleritis, and all the itis. True, because it is I didn't notice say all those ending with itis, they're inflammation. But the point is, what really is inflammation? Inflammation is the cry. Now let's read something here. Inflammation is the response of vascularized connective tissue to injury. Again, inflammation is the response of vascularized connective tissue to injury. Near patch say before say inflammation ebe okay no. I was say tissue wo. I was say tissue na wo no I blood vessels. I no so. And yes inflammation okay. Into baby inflammation will be ano. Enema saying the tissue. And the tissue should have blood vessel and the injury. A banner I will see the inflammation. That means a tissue be any blood vessel be ano. Inflammation okay or into tissue no better means whether me heal was a blood vessel it's the injury ever can before say to undergo inflammation. That's it. Until define say inflammation is the response of vascularized connective tissue to injury. Into say me tissue no now vessels. Not say injury be insult be whatever ever can a bit mammy inflammation. And in the cardinal signs of inflammation at least everyone who say inflammation I'll care. Now the injury could be so many forms. It could be physical injury. Basically, I didn't album. It could be saying chemical chemical injury and a radiation, even thermal injury, it be a heat, and as a microorganism like a bacteria be and an invade. All these things will cause inflammation. And see, irrespective of the cause of injury, if I have my tissue, not tissue, blood vessel there, it will cause inflammation. Now, inflammation, mostly it sounds to be say it's very bad, but the point is that inflammation is primarily defensive. Yɛmfa say sisi ano to no bacteria bi abe invade wo nsa ho. Once at the point once wo nsa ho ho na beda mogya bi. Adentia because more blood it say bacteria ne release ade fa ne endotoxins. Nti destroy cells ni bi. Nti once mogya bebre na aba ho abeda ho. Mogya na eba no the white blood cells bebre ba, the complement proteins bebre ba, the macrophages bebre ba. Sa immunocompetent cells we no eno na ebe fight against the bacteria. Nti bacteria dey no cause inflammation but more blood about that area. Eba no so the white blood cells, macrophages, complement proteins eba aba fight against inflammation. Once on moja. I didn't say because the more cells about ever fighting. Again, more blood about inflammation so come about to destroy the cause of injury. In turn, say be bacteria na hamena. Once inflammation okay na be destroy bacteria. Inflammation is very important, primarily to destroy the cause of injury, to even neutralize the cause of injury, and even wall off the cause of injury. Even I want to say when bacteria bet me cells maybe inflammation can even come and pave way for repair. Inflammation is very primarily defensive, only that sometimes it can overact. Now, as a cause some kind of damage to other cells. About saying here, pharmacological intervention to stop it. You get it? Now, let's go to the radio. Chemical mediators. A mediator may be defined as endogenous chemical agent which takes an active part in the development of the inflammatory response. Again, a mediator may be defined as endogenous chemical agent which takes an active part in the development of the inflammatory response. I would say, talking about acute inflammation, I don't know, some of my lives I'll bring that too. I would say there is redness, there is swelling, there is heat, all the cardinal signs of inflammation. Before say be okay no, chemical mediators no, be release and something now okay. Into chemical mediators and mediators that mediate different steps of what inflammation. Into almost here because they say who's inflammation here at least to destroy the cause of injury, to neutralize the cause of injury, any other stuff say boy. Before all this will come no, I was say chemical mediators be released and sign now okay. It is very important, so we look into that. Now look at something. This is my tissue here. Say we know we am tissue, so we am tissue box my door and tissue. And we know box get once in Madonna as cells. Madonna as cells. And my draw bacteria be so bacteria good. And my draw toxins ewa bacteria no release toxins ewa say. And I have me vessel, my blood vessel, and so me capillary, and I have me veins. Na yɛnhwɛ adeɛ bi wɔ ha se. Now, wɔn sisi a me tissue no wɔ hɔnom o, ana bacteria no aba mu. Yɛmfa nsi bia Staphylococcus aureus, whatever, aba mu. Ɛbaeɛ no, ana release toxins. Na saa toxins wey na release no, destroy me cells no. Nti wɔn sɛ destroy cells no bi a ho, wɔn sɛ cells no release chemicals bi. Nti one, bacteria na ba me tissue no mu. About me tissue no, bacteria na release toxins. Toxins no be destroy my cells. Na only me see. My cells na be destroy na be release chemicals bi. In a form of chemical mediators. Or no ebe act on the vessel. Na be vessel na more blood about inside. More blood ever inside and so. Or the more white blood cells ever. More white blood cells so more macrophages ever. More neutrophils, more complement proteins. Eba, na for mu no abefa say aba fight against the bacteria. Now destroy bacteria. In this inflammation okay, bacteria na ewo mu no. We release chemicals different toxins. So toxins na be same cell no, but my cell no ontimi fight bacteria no. Into my cell na ya be release and cells na nkwa aba for now cells na be release chemicals bi. Sa chemicals no eba ko act on the blood vessel no. Ama blood vessel no ma bie kese ama mo je bebre ai den afumu by inside. By inside by certain mechanisms mo abesa so this way endothelium. Sa chemical mediators no ba abesa bibiem na white blood cells no complement proteins no ne omo nyina san by aba tissue nim na fight against bacteria no makono. Until before say white blood cells no complement proteins no then eba abontin aba fight against bacteria no. And was a chemical mediators na then release. These are called the chemical mediators of what? Inflammation. They are going to mediate all the steps. Chemical mediators. Obeko ako the vessel smooth mass now act upon it. Name will be now more blood as amber. So white blood cells never has said and so on has said endothelial cells a quite be in them. bacteria na sorry chemical mediators na bɛsan kɔ act on ha se akɔ bibi wei ama white blood cells no aba. Na yɛnte sometimes bi ase sɛ yɛka se vasodilation means me vessel na yɛde ɛmo abie. Vasodilation means me vessel na yɛde ɛmo abie ama more blood aba inside. And I'm say vascular permeability ɔn sɛ we yɛ vessel be underlined by endothelial cells. On the gaps be any good. Now during inflammation, gaps ebedem. There are leakages. Remember what when be leak up one thing. Benya edema and swelling because when anyone ma be a protein then you bet me leak free blood in about tissues name. In the case of vascular permeability, it means the endothelial cells na was now it gaps a bum until you get me free vessel name about tissue name. That is vascular permeability. In the before say inflammation about okay no. One, bacteria na was in bacteria never release toxins. Toxins never send me cells no. Now if cells ni be then be a mast cell. Bones a pie na releasing so be chemicals be or mona echo cause all the steps of the inflammation or in some bind to a vessel no na beam na more blood abum na the white blood cells na macrophages na neutrophils na abum na maba omba sin so sa chemical mediators no besan eden ebie endothelial cells nim ama eden ama samba na sa white blood cells na tima fa mu aba bontin na fe abe kill the bacteria for us. Inti kwan ben so na inflammation ba me say inflammation na eden okay. I want say we have the 5 cardinal signs of inflammation. We have the redness in Latin, rubor. Into when who be a Latin name din because in OBJ it could be said more in Latin terms, some more English terms. Into redness, a rubor, heat, calorimeter, into heat, calor, swelling, tumor. But this tumor no any what happens in cancer there be. And pain, dolor, and a loss of function, a function Lisa. The point is that loss of function, who know what sign, but the point is that when you have pain, redness, heat, and even swelling, particularly, someone's inflammation now care. Won't even find one sign in your BAPM. It's a balance. What is the function of that? Young fans will be aware of eye inflammation, severe one. Won't mean an infant had here. It's a balance, and I will lose the function at that very moment. Into 5 cardinal signs of inflammation: redness, rubor, heat, calor, swelling, tumor, loss of function, functional laser, and then pain, dolor. But near the chemical mediators. Good. Into you say once a chemical mediators no, ebe boy ama bind to vessels no, ama moja bam ama ababoy fight against the infection and that's the bacteria and whatever the injury is. So good. Now chemical mediators of inflammation, we say women mediate the steps. Same I'll get swelling, I'll get pain, I'll get redness. Women started at the end. It's in a form of chemical mediators of inflammation. And they say once inflammation, I never require inflammation, they say okay, I will say more redness, I will say more swelling, I will say more pain, on that kind of thing. Now women started. Until you mediators, they mediate all the steps of inflammation. In the chemical mediators of inflammation, you bet in your home, you be from 2 places. In you, chemical mediators of inflammation, you be from 2 places. What are these places? You bet when your free cells and answer plasma, the water spot of blood. Inti say be cells, if I say be a bacteria, ebe invading my cell. Once I release chemicals be. Or make chemical mediators. And no being able to himself free my plasma moves about one thing. Into you can say what are the derived component of maybe chemical mediators are. One, if it means you want to cell derived mediators and cell derived chemical mediators. And your plasma derived mediators and now plasma derived chemical mediators. You see, when you come say chemical mediators, you bit when you're free, baby, me, baby, one, plasma, me blood vessel, in soon a woman. Oh, and say, Moja, your plasma, and your the cells, now plasma, bit mamma me, chemical mediators, nibi. And I miss cells and kasa. Really, near blood vessel, but miss cells, no. And so between them, I'm a chemical mediators, nibi. Until you have two places, cell-derived mediators. That means a chemical mediators. I'm not moving for cells. And I have chemical mediators. I'm not moving for plasma. Rebefi. There be interphobia one by one year. Now, if you have cell-derived, into your very warm. They say, you say, a cell-derived chemical mediators. Next, some mediators, you know, for cells in yes, na ɛkɔ bɔn amany different steps of what inflammation, whether vasodilation, vasodilating, na more blood come, vascular permeability, endothelial cells ni baby na aba tissues ni enti your cell derived mediators. Na ɛkɔ cell derived mediators na ɛnyɛ ɛwɔ busuafo 5. Nyɛ fi cell ni mu, but a group into 5. A group into 5. In the first one, I was vasoactive amines. Vasoactive amines. Also a group of chemical mediators being for cells. And arachidonic acid metabolites. Also cells in free. Chemical mediators. And cytokines. Also cells in one. And lysosomal compounds or cells in one. If you buy, they are cell derived. And platelet activating factors. Also no cells ni mu a nti yɛmfa first one na yɛkɔbɔ so a yɛdi kan a ɔmo fi cell ni mu a chemical mediator fi cell ni mu a yɛfrɛ vasoactive amines ebi yɛ dɛn histamine ɛna serotonin wei na yɛde major 2 ɛna neuropeptide nso yɛ dɛn ɛwɔ hɔ yɛba arachidonic acid metabolites nso nti wei na yɛ so hu nti mka sɛ vasoactive amines ɛso de ma me sharp histamine serotonin neuropeptide ne yɛkɔ anim yɛnkɔ arachidonic acid metabolites. We know mine the chemical mediators through 2 pathways. If ever call the COX pathway, if ever call the LOX pathway. So, now the COX pathway, mine then chemical mediator different prostaglandin, thromboxane, and prostacyclin, and resolving. In the arachidonic acid metabolites, the COX pathway, chemical mediators being prostaglandin, thromboxane, prostacyclin, and resolving. And the LOX pathway, then is 5-HPET. 5-HPET, I'll explain further. And lipoxane, in the arachidonic acid metabolite, through these 2 pathways, I'll get all these chemical mediators. Prostaglandin, thromboxane, prostacyclin, resolving, and COX pathway. And the LOX pathway, 5-HPET, and then lipoxane. Meko abusua di kan a ɛtɔ so mmiɛnsa nso a cytokines ɔmo nso free cells mu na ɛba wo their chemical mediators bi ɔmo nso free cells mu ayɛ dɛ ɛba yɛwɔ interleukin 1 interleukin 2 interleukin 8 interleukin 12 tumor necrotic factor alpha tumor necrotic factor beta ɛna interferon gamma ɔmo nyinaa nso free cytokines mu na ɛba yɛkɔ lysosomal compounds no nso a yɛwɔ macrophages and PMMS. Ɛsɛ ohu wei nyinaa, so ohu obia no biribi ahyɛ. Cytokines, interleukin ɛhyɛ n'ase. Arachidonic acid metabolite, COX pathway, then ɛwɔ hɔ. LOX pathway, then ɛwɔ hɔ. Vasoactive amines, and chemical mediators bɛn ɛwɔ hɔ. What I say, say bɛfa obi aba battery adeɛ bi. Say vasoactive amines, matra preformed. Arachidonic acid metabolites synthesized, cytokines synthesized, lysosomal compounds preformed, platelet activating factors synthesized. So make us a preformed sa chemical mediators we no omo wadada as say a chiro ma grobam in some bacteria besena na pai na release na edwuma say the preform the omo but near synthesize no woni ho no mo but with the help of inflammation no my fast no my generate ade aba nti MCQs maybe so which of the following are preformed chemical mediators mabo histamine mabo serotonin mabo neuropeptide mabo prostaglandin. Let me say so which of the following is not preformed chemical mediator? Which of the following is not a preformed chemical mediator? Histamine, serotonin, neuropeptide, and a prostaglandin. Well, not for them. Prostaglandin, because prostaglandin is synthesized. And when you have inflammation bar, na a generating at the bar. But the preformed ones no more than that. It's from a problem that into inflammation, na papa, and release na kubwa them na put all the steps of what inflammation. Into getting the family to all these group of chemical mediators are they derive from cells. So and to know them and know examples of each of them. Now, the cause of when you say every chemical mediator be an ever person yet here, and then you mediate. That's all. Let's go. It's ever for vasoactive amines. Now, vasoactive amine. They are very important and a vasoactive amine kasan. They help in early inflammatory response. If the inflammation okay na no or women are buying and my response ni okay. Now the first one is histamine. It's in histamine. Then baby and your fiber. Baby and your fiber, you don't histamine, you don't mast cells. You don't mast cells. And you don't basophils. Basophils, almost say cells, basophils. And then you don't platelets. If you are asked, histamine, their source, a cell in the fiber, but cell being a fiber, move mast cell, move basophils, and man a platelet. Now, when stimulus occurs, when injury occurs, histamine releases by process of mast cell degranulation. So let's say trauma, let's say can be example, we have physical trauma, and a hit or cold. Whenever there is an injury, cells no ever pie now release mast cell no. Now if we know mast cell, the best friend mast cell degranulation. Mast cell no api as a pie and histamine a epiphyma na cause allergic reaction. It's a mast cell saying the function is cause vasodilation and then vascular permeability and itching and pain. Makai actual vasodilation. Mrs. Say if there's inflammation, I will say mojan in tin emubi na more blood about histamine can be or this side be the histamine can be NASRDN. And now vascular permeability, my catcher say white blood cells mean about mojan in cinema. I want to say endothelial cells we know. Endothelial cells we or say a quantity them na white blood cells na ba fight against the bacteria. And now we cause gaps no. Histamine so can one create gaps. Or we na amine na the AP abakoso infection. Now yanko the next one, serotonin. We say very most of all the vasoactive amine on here pa. And I'm help in early inflammatory response to take note. Second one, serotonin. We move in about sources, platelets, chromatin cell of GIT, spleen, nervous tissue, and a mast cell. Into who serotonin baby also fiber, cell ben fiber, cells also fiber. Because the case of cell derived chemical mediators. You may be know the mediators cell do vasoconstriction and almost serve as neurotransmitters in the brain, CNS. Now, another one, the third one, neuropeptides. A kind of peptide is a substance B, neurokinin, vasoactive intestinal peptide, and so on to statin. Now, you may be no almost with the source no move in peripheral nervous system and central nervous system and the mind. Functioning then it increases vascular permeability. Endothelial cells na gaps baby na white blood cells ni na ba tissues ni mo no omo ndi sa adwuma no ana mast cell degranulation omo so boa ma mast cells no paima release histamine ama ne kodwuma say di ana omo so cause pain. So know them. It's a way vasoactive amines. Know their names, know their sources and their function. That's all. Now, yenko arachidonic acid metabolites. Bebenya prostaglandin. Now, yenko na this is me cell no na bibi abome. Bibi abome cell no. Na se me cell no bacteria be invade. Inti announce cells no our membrane of phospholipids be good. Inti whenever there's an injury pe, now the membrane phospholipids no ebe convert it into what I call arachidonic acid. Isi amoho ana bacteria be abebe invading tissue no. Bane sana me cells no cells no omo me phospholipid membranes. Nti bacteria no ebe ha me pe. Once phospholipid membranes no bacteria no attack no. Once ebe convert it into arachidonic acid by an enzyme called phospholipase A2. Good. Now for arachidonic acid no, ebitumi achana befa ha. Na se ebitumi achana befa ha. Enti na ka say arachidonic acid metabolites no, amo no they are by two pathway. We no the LOX pathway. LOX, you can say LOX are lipo-oxygenase. And I'm say COX are cyclo-oxygenase. It's a lipo-oxygenase pathway. When say cyclo-oxygenase pathway. It's a membrane phospholipase no convert into arachidonic acid by an enzyme called phospholipase A2I. Now from here, an enzyme called COX-1 or COX-2 about converting arachidonic acid into prostaglandins. This I call prostaglandin intermediates. So we have prostaglandin G2, prostaglandin GA2. They are all intermediates. Now from here, then we get our prostacyclins, prostaglandins, and thromboxanes. Into we and away chemical mediators by as a result of what arachidonic acid metabolite membrane phospholipids converted by arachidonic acid when there was an injury by an enzyme called phospholipase A2 and an enzyme called COX-1 or COX-2 acted on arachidonic acid and are converted by the intermediates and being the prostacyclins, prostaglandins, and thromboxanes. So, right. I think another pathway called the lipo-oxygenase pathway. Arachidonic acid ebitumi converted about 5-HPET by an enzyme called lipo-oxygenase. That's how we also converted at about leukotrienes A4. And leukotrienes A4 so will then be getting leukotriene B4 and cysteine leukotrienes. Inti on say with the help of the membrane phospholipids of the cell no into by no the membrane phospholipids are converted by arachidonic acid by an enzyme called phospholipase A2. They do about arachidonic acid and COX there be meet me no and COX-1 and COX-2 enzyme no on work on arachidonic acid no and on the bar intermediates no PG2 PGA2 and on the bar prostacyclins, prostaglandins, and thromboxanes. Na ye neuro so we na chemical mediators. But we don't say ya synthesize and the same pathway in lipo-oxygenase enzyme be acting on way and the about 5-HPET and the leukotrienes A4 and a leukotriene B4 and cysteine leukotrienes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I call chemical mediators of inflammation. In some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same from the eicosanoids. In an exam, what's eicosanoids are? You refer to some of 1, 2, 3 thromboxanes, prostaglandins, prostacyclins, cysteine leukotrienes, and leukotriene B4. They are synthesized. I didn't see because my son no one I'm saying when a bacteria by and a bacteria be invade. A banner also my cell and a membrane phospholipids no a converted by arachidonic acid by an enzyme called phospholipidine A2. Into a say an enzyme COX-1 or COX-2 enzyme to the baby human and are working on arachidonic acid and are converted by prostaglandin intermediates and then prostacyclins, glandins, and thromboxanes. And when a LOX on smith made human and a lipo-oxygenase enzyme working on arachidonic acid and the by 5-HPET and the by leukotriene A4 and the by leukotriene B4 cysteine leukotrienes into human chemical mediators of inflammation, but on said they are synthesized. unlike histamine and serotonin, how may perform when you synthesize them. Good. In the number one, arachidonic acid metabolites. Mast cell, macrophages, and endothelial cells. So know their source. Now, in your cox, prostaglandin, your PGD2 and a PGE2 and a we have PGF2. Now, PGD2 and PGE2, no, they are also vasodilation. I'm a vessel make a CM and I'm also bronchodilation. So I'm a bronchus no be. Now, PGF2 so also vasodilation and also my vessel be. But PGF2 also bronchoconstriction. I'm out bronchus no kakra. Thromboxane, a cut thromboxane as a black clotting in terms of the called platelet aggregation. And I'm saying also vasodilation. I'm a vessel may be. I form some also bronchoconstriction or bronchus no or my mo is kakra. A cook prosacyclin so you know the audience also vasodilation or mistake here. Also vasodilation, I'm a vessel baby. Also bronchodilation, I'm a bronchus muscle a baby. And I'm inhibit they inhibit platelet aggregation. They inhibit blood clotting. I'm inhibit blood clotting. But thromboxane they almost stimulate blood aggregation, platelet aggregation. Then call LOX and swear. Now LOX, 5-HPET. You didn't say on also chemotaxis. You understand when it comes to acute inflammation. In you know now I like it. Send a bay say I will bring that content acute inflammation. Send a bit materials. And now your leukotriene 4, leukotriene D4, leukotriene C4, leukotriene E4. Function is saying now cause vasoconstriction. Cause bronchospasm. Bronchus no one say atria. I say into more asthmatic and a breath and go bronchospasm. San cause vessel no HHACC. Cause increase vascular permeability. Some say endothelial cells na blood vessels no BB gaps in white blood cells na proteins and the AP ba. Then call lipoxins where lipoxin A, lipoxin B, A4 and B4. They are anti-inflammatory. Intimacy the inflammation cause at least the body now try to bring in some chemical mediators to stop it. In the balance and almost they do that. That is like lipoxin. After cytokines. Cytokines, if A is cell derived. Your timonocotic factor alpha, interleukin 1, interleukin 6, or nani at the Hodgkin rolling, transmigration. On somebody now acute inflammation. In some mechanisms, when you don't know why you like now subscribe it. Send a baby to me the content to my mom. And now interleukin 17 and so chemotaxis, whereby cells now prefer blood vessels within man. A bit movie to the site of injury, no, definitely chemotaxis. You understand acute inflammation. Interleukin 8 and all this so-called anti-inflammatory. Now, after you the cell derived, all the chemical mediators of free cells now, and 4-5 no, and who will be a V. Now, if you call plasma derived mediators, or more free plasma in by nothing drums, or mere 4. Your kinin, clotting, complement, and a fibrinolytic system. Into your case plasma derived mediators are mere 4, 3. Mediators mediators of free plasma in or mere 4. Kinin, clotting, complement, and a fibrinolytic system, mere 4. Into nearby. Now, it includes various products derived from activation interaction of 4 interlinked systems. In terms of when they are linked together, okay, it's a whole together. Now, once a kinin system, at the end of the day, on my bradykinin, now I'm not boy with inflammation. In the kinin system, my bradykinin, kinin was a cool, on my man by a banner air friend bradykinin. But don't say they are synthesized into I was say the way almost a buyer being by the kinin. Near shake you media by the kinin, a bad boy inflammation. That is all. Into the system on activation by factor 12 agent with bradykinin. So name because it is called bradykinin because of the slow concentration of smooth muscles. Into with inflammation here, what to be happening? Into bradykinin inflammation see I will say it synthesized bradykinin and crime bands with the kinin system. A crime benzo. Now with inflammation, I want to say factor 12, friend Hadman factor, will be getting factor 12A, and that is going to activate prekallikrein. It's going to activate prekallikrein activator. Factor 12A is going to activate prekallikrein activator. That's how prekallikrein activator activates prekallikrein molecules. Now prekallikrein molecules now convert it into what? Kallikrein. Now kallikrein acts on high molecular structures. I call it acts on high molecular hydrogen. Now for being by the kinin. In the factor 12 Hagman factor will lead to what? Factor 12A, and that will activate prekallikrein activator. Prekallikrein activator will activate what? Prekallikrein molecules. Prekallikrein molecules will convert into what? Kallikrein. Kallikrein will act on high molecular kinogen. Na for being by the kinin. Hooray! It's a bradykinin. Bradykinin ever bomb inflammation. So what is the function of bradykinin? If you know the steps in getting bradykinin and know the function of bradykinin. Bradykinin acts in the early stage of inflammation, and its effects include smooth muscle contraction, vasodilation, and increased vascular permeability. That's the function of bradykinin. And to know the process that are involved, factor 12, Hagman factor, will lead to what? Factor 12A, and that will activate prekallikrein activator. The kallikrein activator will activate what? Prekallikrein molecules. The kallikrein molecules will convert kallikrein and act on high molecular kinogen, and that will lead to what? Bradykinin. That is a kinin system. Good. Now let's go to the clotting system. In the clotting system, also, I did have factor 12A. This is going to initiate the cascade. And also, an clotting system near period fibrinopeptides. In the crime bear soon a fibrinopeptides. Factor 12A initiated the cascade of the clotting system to form fibrinogen. And when you get fibrinogen, thrombin will act on it, and we get fibrin and what? Fibrinopeptides. Simple as that. Until the function of the fibrinopeptides are the action of fibrinopeptides in inflammation are increased vascular permeability, chemotaxis for leukocytes, and anticoagulant activity. That's a clot system. In the clot system, fibrinopeptides. So, in the because the synthesize and as a factor 12A, initiated the cascade of the clotting system to form fibrinogen, and thrombin will act on it and cause fibrin and what? Fibrinopeptides. And this is what we want. And now we know the function here. Good. Now you call the fibrinolytic system. Now this system activates the kinase system. This system activates the kinase system. How? Good. Now we have agents. This is called lysis to break fibrin, breaking the fibrin. It's the agent that breaks the fibrin, that causes lysis of the fibrin. Now this is activated by plasminogen activator. So first activated by what? Plasminogen activator. Now this activated or this plasminogen activator, no, into first of all, no, plasminogen activator will be activated. Now we are acting on what? Plasminogen. And the plasminogen are a component of plasma protein. Now are forming plasmin. When into plasmin function, on the say activation of factors 12 to form the kallikrein activator. Now to stimulate the kinin system to generate bradykinin. In terms of make say this system activates the kinin system. Kinin system. For the kinin system, they can factor 12 in the kind. Factor 12 in the kind. In here, so say plasma function so obey activity factor 12. And before say we ever start before say factor 12 starting or say activity, it needs to be activated. Now when never activity, the fibrinolytic system ever activity into plasma and ever activity the factor 12 na adwuma kinin in terms of this system activate the kinase system. 2. It degenerates fibrin to form fibrin splits. Once I'm going to say fibrinolytic into a bit degenerative fibrin to form fibrin splits, and then that is products which increases vascular permeability and chemotactic to leukocytes. At the same time, splits off complement C3 to form C3A, which is a permeability factor. Intercells split C3 to form C3A. Now the last system, called the complement system, which is also plasma derived. Now the complement compounds, only for C1, C2, C3, C4, up to C9, up to C9. Complement compounds and are present in plasma as inactive forms. In terms of plasma anymore, but when you're active, a quine bears on being active, they are activated by two pathways. This pathway, antigen antibody complex pathway, or non-immunologic agents, like when there's bacterial toxins, cobra venom, IgA, that is when they're activated. So on activation, they form what I call anaphylaxins, this C3A and then C4A and C5A, and membrane attack complex, MAC. Once about forming CA3 classy. Once we know physical system no split of C3 and the forming C3A and we be twice. They work together. So anaphylaxin C3A, C4A, C5A, and membrane attack complex. Now the actions of anaphylaxins are on C3A, C4 on functions new. Release of histamine from mast cells and basophils. Okay, increase vascular permeability. In vascular permeability, I'm going to vascular permeability. Meaning, once I'm just a gaps, that endothelial cells, then when blood vessel in the tissue in man inside the vascular permeability. Into increased vascular permeability and C3A augment phagocytes and increase vascular permeability, also increase vascular permeability. And I C5A so is chemotactic for leukocytes. That is all for that. And so when you video know like in a subscribe, I mean for acute inflammation, any other things from MRO. It's always a plasma derived data normal for kinin, protein, complement, and fibrolytic. Free plasma nim. And cell again also your vasoactive amines, your arachidonic acid metabolites, your cytokines, your lysosomal compounds, and your pellet activating factors. You know how arachidonic acid and so in I'm say we will membrane no na inji ba o cells no cells no membrane phospholipids it's injury na ba no be converted to arachidonic acid by an enzyme called phospholipase A2. Also, memo be steroid we ever bind to that enzyme because ever bind to that enzyme and see memo phospholipase be converted to arachidonic acid by an enzyme called phospholipase A2. Good. A bar na an enzyme called COX enzyme are converted to the prostaglandin intermediates, being procyclins, prostaglandins, and thromboxanes. This same pathway so locks a bit my lipo-oxygenate enzyme, like converted arachidonic acid to 5-HPAT. Now the balicotrienes, A4, B4, and sister balicotrienes. Then also, into all this time class chemical mediators. One to some from eicosanoids. In summary, if a chemical mediators, and you say if you feel cells never, and if you plasma never, plasma then you might be some year 4, and the cell the answer no me 4, 5. Get to know their names and their sources and their functions. That is all for today. Into when you video know subscribe and then like na memfa other content in so embryo. Thank you.